I'm coming home, I'm coming home. Tell the world I'm coming home.
When most people think of home, they think of one place, the place they are born and raised. However, my home is not a physical place, it's a state of mind. I am a military brat, the child of 2 American soldiers. My home is wherever the military deploys my parents. This consisted of coming to new places, then immediately going, the hellos and goodbyes. 7 moves, 4 schools, and making a new best friend every 3 to 6 months. It's not easy, but in the end, I am proud to be an Army brat. When I was born in Lawton, Oklahoma, I assumed the house I lived in to be my home. However, at the age of 2, I was informed that my mom was being deployed to Aiken, South Carolina. According to Ender, children whose parents are deployed often experience anger, abandonment, and loneliness. This is exactly how I felt, but I packed my stuff and decided to leave my home for a new one. Nevertheless, when we arrived in South Carolina, I instantly fell in love with our new home on base. Although there were many stricter rules and many times military groups would march past our window, I considered this place to be my home. I thought it was great I lived around children who knew exactly how it felt to move around a lot. This common experience we shared made it easy to make new friends when I started school. Life was great. However, 4 years later, my mom sat me down and told me that in 2 weeks we would be moving back to Oklahoma. This move was much worse than the first. How was I supposed to tell my friends that next Friday would be the last time they see me? I felt like my life was ending and that we would never settle down into one home. I thought moving to Oklahoma would not be that bad since I lived there before. However, I started to seclude myself from others because I hated saying goodbye. I avoided this by only having a few friends or none at all, and I often had similar experiences to Skylar.
A new school in Pennsylvania. Nobody would want to talk to me. So when it was all snowing and stuff, and they were like playing but it was first grade. They're like playing fairies, and I'm just like sitting there like hooting myself, like I'm crunched up because I'm so cold. But nobody would ask me if I wanted to play. And I asked, and then they said no. So I would just read a book, and you couldn't stay inside either, or you had to do extra work.
In 3 months, I moved back to South Carolina. 1 year to North Carolina. 4 months back to Oklahoma. And then 9 months to South Carolina. This is where my mom finally retired from the military, and I knew we would no longer have to move around as much. Staying in one place was very different to me. I did not understand the rules of society, and even though retired, I was sure my mom would move me again. When I started school here, I realized that there were less rules when outside the military bases. Yes, sir, and yes, ma'am were not said after every sentence like I had been taught all my life. Beds were not needed to be made a certain way every morning when I woke up. I was intrigued by civilian life when I was younger, but I never thought it would become my life. After 4 years, I started calling Pike County my home. Finally, a place where there were no hellos and goodbyes. My best friends stayed with me, and we all graduated together. I finally found myself a home. I consider myself to be a lucky military brat since I got the experience of civilian life. I also got to move around with my mom, even when she was deployed. This is an experience many military brats do not get the benefit of receiving. Many brats continue to move around, although they are in high school or college. By being a military brat, I was able to make friends in different states, some of which are now around the world.
Ain't no place like home. Coming home. Coming home. Tell the world. Coming home.